Another barrage before dawn. Ukrainian anti-aircraft batteries intercepting a Russian missile over the capital, one of two shot down this morning. As the assault closes in on Kyiv, 2.5 million civilians are suddenly on the front line. Firefighters in the suburb of Koshytsa struggle to put out the blaze. Russia says it's not targeting civilians, but this is what happens when you fire missiles at a capital city. For many, it was the second night of cowering in basements and bomb shelters, doing whatever it takes to keep fear at bay. They always knew where these places were, but never really dreamed they'd use them. Not in 2022.
Now we have come to the building where the bomb shelter is, and we're trying to stay here. It's pretty crowded. People get their dogs and cats and kids, and we're hearing the news about possible attacks in this district.
And now the Russians are right outside, in Anna's neighbourhood. This is Obolon, north of the city centre. An armoured vehicle runs over a car. Eyewitnesses unable to believe what they're seeing. Amazingly, the driver survives, pulled from the wreckage by desperate passers-by. Equally unbelievable, one of the city's buses still running, forced to give way to Kyiv's invaders.
In 24 hours, these streets have almost completely emptied. It is increasingly dangerous to go out. The Ukrainians have warned that Russian soldiers could be operating inside the city, perhaps even in stolen Ukrainian vehicles. Pressure on the government is mounting all the time. Most people here believe the Russians simply want to get rid of it.
Sirens are now more frequent, and the sound of distant explosions too. For Ukraine's president, speaking again to his people, this is a lonely fight.
This morning we are alone in defending our country, just like yesterday. The most powerful forces in the world watch from afar.
Ukraine is huge. The attacks which began yesterday have affected almost every major city. Russian armoured columns have been rolling in from north, south and east. The old Chernobyl nuclear reactor is now in Russian hands. But it seems the airbase at Gostomel, seized yesterday, may have been taken back. In the east, close to the Russian border, there was ferocious fighting overnight at Sumy. The Russians may not have made as much progress as they hoped here, and they're suffering casualties too. Back in Kyiv, the wreckage of an unidentified Russian aircraft. The odds in this war are massively stacked against Ukraine, but it is fighting back. Paul Adams, BBC News, Kyiv.
Well, let's take you live now. Not live, let's take a look at some latest pictures that are coming into us here at BBC News. These are from Kharkiv. This is Ukraine's second biggest city. It is basically located in the northeast of the country. It's the largest city in its region, and it's a population of about 1.5 million. As you can see, it's cold, it's snowing, but these pictures are showing us pretty much the aftermath of a clear attack. Vehicles have been destroyed, missile strikes have impacted the area. You can see here that soldiers are milling around, smoking cigarettes. You've seen overturned vehicles. This city is, of course, the second biggest in the country. These are the Ukrainian army soldiers on the outskirts of that city, which has been very much, together with Kyiv, the focus of the Russian army. Again, we've seen vehicles destroyed and the aftermath of missile strikes in this city. But these pictures coming into us now showing exactly what the Ukrainian army are up against. Not only have they seen an attack by the Russian military, but it looks like the weather is absolutely appalling as well. So these pictures have just been coming into us here from today at BBC News.